Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is time again, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, as we broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Fifer here at Rally House, Brookfield Square. Come on by, stop by Brookfield, Wisconsin. All kinds of postseason gear waiting for you to be had and worn. I held up one of the T-shirts earlier on YouTube, the NLCS T-shirts that they have. The hats are amazing. They are probably the sweetest Brewers hat I've seen them put out yet are these NLCS hats. So definitely check that out. And your chance to win a $250 Rally House gift card. All you got to do is scan the QR code here at the table to have a chance to win a $250 gift card. Again, if you're coming in Rally House, scan the QR code, have a chance to win a $250 gift card. Now, I have had this happen today, Charlie. I don't know how to do it. And then they hand over the phone to their wife, and their wife does it for the husband. And that's probably very similar to what it'd be if it was Kay and I shopping somewhere and something like that.
So for you to be the one handing the phone over?
Yeah, anything like technology-wise, I'm out.
Yeah,
just
I figured. Yeah.
Figured out. I have no idea.
When
how
you're born in
works.
1776, that's what happens sometimes, Sparky.
Close. Yeah, it's close. Absolutely right. But you see, I like the old days, right? Where you like write down your name and your number on a sheet of paper and you just put it into a box and you pull it that way. But all this new fancy technology, just like I hate those self scanners. We've talked about that numerous times. I stopped going to grocery stores that only have self scanners. I'm out, completely out. After 8 o'clock, I know which ones there are in where I live. And those are the ones I avoid. Those that actually have people running cashiers, that's where I go. Plain and simple. And I've told those people at those grocery stores that I won't go there anymore because of all the self-service things. So, yes, I'm very old, and I'm okay with it. Let's get to talking about some Packers.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Fifer.
In fact, let me expand on that. I was in Portage, Wisconsin this last weekend, right? And I was at a store where this wasn't a grocery store per se, but half was self-service, and the other half, Charlie, had cashiers. They had like 6 lines of cashiers, right?
Wow.
So I was all excited.
Transported back in time.
Yeah. Oh, I was so excited. So I go and I get in line, and I tell the cashier that I hate these self-service things, man, and how back where I live, like there are stores that only have self-service. There are no actual human beings outside of one for every 6, and then they're in charge of fixing all 5 or 6 that they break at the same time, and then everybody wants to lose their minds at that point. She shook her head in dismay. She goes, "That sounds awful. Oh, my goodness." I said, "Yeah, you're telling me. I know all about that." So I'm telling you, I might move to Portage just so I can get to human beings again doing checkouts. That's what I would like to see everybody get back to. All right, let's get to Matt LaFleur. He talked and lots to get to on his side as far as defensively and how the Packers are going to deal with this. And he talked about counteracting opposing offenses, doing that quick play stuff, getting the ball out in 3 seconds quickly on short slants and different things that were killing the Packers against the Bengals this weekend.
I would say that's been a theme through 5 games. So, teams just getting the ball out quick with quick game and screens and some run alerts. And, we getting a ton of double chippers as well to when they do want to or need to try to push the ball down the field. That's just going to be the way it is, I think, for a while.
How do you counteract that defensively when that's what you're going to be facing?
Well, I think, there's a lot of things that you can do in terms of just presenting different looks or coverage schemes or simulated pressures, whatever it may be. But I think it's just going to be important for us to make sure we're playing complementary football, and we got to get leads on people.
Yeah, absolutely. And getting leads on people obviously is a big thing, right? But once that happens, then more deeper routes, more developing things, Charlie. And at that point now, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, and those guys now have more time to get back to that quarterback. But if we're being honest, Like, why wouldn't you play that style of offense consistently in the National Football League, where it's get your back foot hit the back foot and throw? I mean, and realistically, that's what you want it to be. You don't want the defense to have, extra time necessarily to get back to the quarterback to get a sack. I would think an offensive line that's not all that good in Cincinnati was loving the play calling and the design of what they were running in the second half of that football game. You're a former offensive lineman in college. I'm assuming you would love what they were doing.
I did. I think if you're a guy who's on an offensive line who's a little bit of a weaker unit and you do have to pick up the slack for somebody else or something like that, you would want your offensive coordinator to be running a scheme that has you in mind, that is thinking about you and your team and what you need to go up against. And it seemed like Zach Taylor went into this game with a good game plan, just that their offense isn't the most talented right now. The offensive line is not very good. They have a quarterback who's 800 years old and is not in his prime anymore. I think this is something that for an offensive lineman, yes, across the league, you would hope that the quarterback gets the ball out faster, but not every team has a Jamar Chase and a T. Higgins to get the ball out faster like that. I mean, just look at the Green Bay Packers themselves. They have a very deep wide receiver room, but for two guys to consistently get as open as those two guys do on Cincinnati is a lot harder said or a lot harder done than being said.
Sure. I'll go with you on that. Yeah. I think I was confusing. I think you were confusing me as much as you may be confusing yourself by the time it was all done.
I got it still, so it worked out, so I just went with it, It's all about going with Sparky.
No, that's totally fine. Matt LaFleur was asked about whether or not he'd fight for more holding calls on Micah Parsons. I don't even know what this answer is, but I already have thoughts. But go ahead.
Certainly, it's frustrating when it's blatant. Like, those should get called, right? But I do think there's some situations where there's some close ones on us as well. So I think as long as there's a consistency, that's all you want. Is if you're going to not call it one way, don't call it the other, I would say. But certainly that would help. I mean, I know he's frustrated by it. And there are some that are egregious, and I think those need to be called.
Okay, this is my thing. When we talk about the NBA, and I know that was LaFleur, but I want to start in the NBA. When we talk about the NBA, we talk about college basketball. What do we talk about? We talk about coaches that have been around a while working a reffing crew and getting what they want, whatever it takes to get to where they want to go. Versus an inexperienced coach that's never been a head coach, may have been an assistant, whatever, not getting the same respect from the referees. Referees not listening to them to the same way as they do from, a George Karl, a Phil Jackson, a Rudy Tomjanovich, or Jerry Sloan. I'm using all old guys, I'm sorry. But any one of those guys, right, if we go more modern, as Steve Kerr, right, those type of guys. So you're going to get that respect, and then they know how to work those referees. And they know how to do it on different angles, too. It's not just yelling and screaming. It's getting to know if they have kids, getting to know that, and having that personal side story with them before the game, after the game, off days if they run into them somewhere, and having that personal relationship. So then when you're yelling and screaming, it's friend yelling to friend, whatever the case may be. Developing that background. When Jason Kidd was the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks back in the day, Jason Kidd would have the backgrounds of all three referees in the NBA game. And he would tell his players, memorize who the kids' names are, memorize the wife's name, memorize the background and where these guys are from, and talk these guys up in timeouts during the game. It will help us later in the game, establishing those relationships. It's key in the NBA. When you get to the National Football League, I feel like it's maybe a little bit more difficult. Now, why is that? Well, for the most part, you only have the guy standing in front of you on the sidelines. That's it. It's not the guy right in front of you when something is going on. There's too many of the zebras all over the field for you to work this angle and that angle and this angle and that angle. It's hard. Now, you can yell and scream and carry on, but to say, should you be working more to get more holding calls on Micah Parsons? I don't know, man. Like, I think he's doing the best job he can. I don't know what more Matt LaFleur can do at this point other than what he's done to this point, Charlie.
I mean, he brought it up himself. Micah Parsons is frustrated with this. You don't think Micah Parsons is talking to the refs? You don't think Micah Parsons is building relationships with the refs?
But this isn't the first time it's happened to Micah Parsons. Just like Giannis, when he gets fouled and nobody calls it on him. At some point, you are going to get the calls that you get. That's it. End of story. So at this point, Micah Parsons has been in the league, 4 years? He knows how he's going to get treated. He knows what's going to happen. So you have to move forward. Now, Matt LaFleur, on the other hand, this is your first time coaching him. This is a new experience for you on that side of things. You haven't had a guy like this. With all due respect to Rashawn Gary, don't want to get him mad. He'll pummel me into the ground. I'm just saying, from Micah Parsons' perspective, when you have a Hall of Famer out there, yeah, you probably do have to treat that differently as far as how you deal with referees maybe than you deal with somebody else. I just don't know how effective any head coach can be when you start getting into that conversation, Charlie.
No, and I think that the referees aren't going to bother all coming to talk to you as a head coach when they have to watch 22 guys on the field and talk to a player after every single play because one of those guys is mad about something or doing all this. It's different from an NBA game where you're watching only 10 guys, and there are these longer timeouts where the refs do have time to go talk to the singular players or talk to the singular coaches and have these types of conversations. Or in the MLB where they can do that too, where the manager can come out and talk to the umpire in between innings. It's just not the same in football. The refs go to their locker room at halftime. The teams go to their locker room at halftime. You can't build those relationships as easy on the field as you can on the court or on the diamond.
Charlie Using over there, Steve Sparky, Fifer with you, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Thanks for checking us out, tuning us in today as we're hearing from Matt LaFleur during our Green and Gold update, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. LaFleur didn't just talk about defense. LaFleur also talked about the offensive side of the game. And he got into talk about Jordan Love. And I do not like how this is labeled from Charlie sent to me. Charlie, and I don't know what the answer is, but Jordan, he titled this, Matt LaFleur on Love's tendency to be reckless. Are we going to hear the question, or was this your opinion on what the question was?
I didn't leave the question in, but it was essentially that.
Essentially, yeah. Okay, so Charlie was translating for all of us that haven't heard it. All right, let's hear what Matt LaFleur had to say about Love's tendency to be reckless.
I mean, we talked about that one. I was like, dude, I don't want you taking those shots. And I even thought early on in the game he was getting hit too much. I think by and large he's played pretty well and made really good decisions. Obviously, the one that is obvious to everybody is you just can't throw a pick in the red zone. And I know he wishes he had that play back.
And that play he was talking about at the beginning was the angry run, the Kyle Brandt award that he gives out every week to an NFL player who has the angriest run from 2 weeks ago when Jordan Love did have the angry run.
Lowered his shoulder and ran over the dude. I have no issue necessarily with this. And I have issue with lowering your shoulder and trying to run over a dude like Josh Allen does and like how he did earlier. But I do not, let me say this again. I do not want to tell him not to run. I do not want him thinking about, oh, Matt really doesn't want me to run. I'm not going to take the 5 yards of open grass in front of me. Instead, I'm going to throw it away or force something and get a turnover at this point. You do not want to take away his aggressiveness. He's running more now than he has in the 3 years he's been the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. It adds an element to this offense that we have not seen with Jordan Love under center. Please, please, please do not downplay this whole idea of him running. Let him get out there and do it. If you want to argue about slide, okay, fine. Then fine. I'm fine with you telling him to slide. I'm fine with you telling him to get out of bounds. But please let's not downplay the idea of him not running as much. Charlie, he needs to continue to run to keep defenses off balance. He's not Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying he's going to run for 75 in a game. But if he can get 5 here, oh, boy, he broke off 10 and got a first down here on a broken play. That's a big deal when you're a defense trying to keep their eyes on Jordan Love.
That's huge. It's just as much of an impact on the game as teams getting the ball out quickly against your defense. It really throws them off and makes them have to think about a whole nother aspect of your offense that wasn't there before. And with Jordan Love, I think it's there. And Matt LaFleur has said this before, that he can't really just tell Jordan to run. He's not that type of quarterback. Jordan Love has to be able to understand these types of situations. So like with the Cincinnati Bengals, who are doing a lot of that high cover two on the Packers in this game, it meant a lot to them that Jordan Love was able to get out of the pocket and adjust to that defense, not only running the ball, but getting out of the pocket and throwing the ball as well, which he was able to make some really good throws. Matt LaFleur talks about the first play of the game to Romeo Doubs, how that was really meant for Luke Musgrave, but Jordan got out of the pocket and made something happen and got a big play that way. These are the types of things that when I talked about Jordan Love needing to kind of step up even more as a leader last week, this is the type of stuff where he just has to take the game into his own hands and say, Matt, I've got this. Matt can't be the one making all the choices in these games. Jordan Love has to start making his own choices eventually, and you saw that in this game on Sunday.
No doubt about it. Another comment by Matt LaFleur talking about Matthew Golden's progression in his rookie year. He finally almost had that 100-yard receiving game and almost had that breakout game of, we have to focus on Matthew Golden going forward. He was so close. And he just had, 3 or 4 more balls thrown his way, which doesn't happen with this wide receiver crew with Jordan Love, unless your name's Romeo Doubs. Let's hear about Matthew Golden.
Those were some big-time plays he made yesterday. All 3 of his receptions. I thought he did a nice job on the jet sweep, just showing the, great contact balance. I think he's competing more and more in the run game with the blocking. So, yeah, I'm really excited about where he's going and where he could go. And I think he'll continue to get there because the guy approaches the game the right way. It's a blessing and a curse at times that you have so much confidence. I think Rome's playing really well. I think Wicks is playing really well. Malik Heath has gone in there and done a really nice job for us. And certainly you're missing Jaden and Christian. So, we got a lot of different guys. Then you factor in the tight ends as well. All those guys are doing a really good job. Tuck obviously his impact's been huge.
No,
Musgrave's the guy that
you don't get to talk about Tucker Kraft. No, I don't want to hear him talk about Tucker Kraft. No,
he got a touchdown last game, though, Sparky.
You don't. Right, and before that, I didn't know if he was on the roster. No, you don't get to talk about Tucker Kraft being great or good or anything else when you ignore him in this offense week in and week out. 1 week, you finally got to see what he was, and you quickly extinguished all of that with this offense and never let him be the guy again going forward. Tucker Kraft should be the guy getting 6 to 8 targets every week, guaranteed. Every week, I tell you, 6 to 8 targets a week. Then from there, you can talk about Christian Watson getting, 5 touches, Golden getting another 5 targets, add him. Those should be your 3 top guys getting targets every week. Then Dobbs works in on 3rd and short or whatever. Fine. But that should be the target distribution. He is averaging almost 10 yards after contact, guys. Almost 10 yards. No other tight end in the NFL has ever done that except Tucker Kraft last year. And he's doing it again this year. And you still don't throw him the ball nearly enough. I swear to you, I do not understand. Will something happen to Tucker Kraft if he gets, 8 to 10 balls a week? Are they afraid he's going to get hurt? Is that the issue? Because if at some point, I'll help you. If I'm Tucker Kraft, I'm talking to my agent. I'm like, hey, man, look, I'm going to be a free agent here in a couple of years. They're screwing me on potential money. That's what's happening. I want to go to a team where I can be Kittle. I want to go to a team where I can be like Kelsey. I want to go to a team where I get to go be the guy at tight end. Because in this offense currently, with what they have, he ought to be the guy in the passing game. This offense can be based around Josh Jacobs. Cool with that. I said that at the beginning of the year. Totally fine with that. But as far as targets go, why he doesn't get more balls is beyond me, Charlie.
I think that when looking at his target share, if he were to get more targets, obviously that number of yards per reception is going to go down a little bit. He's not going to stay at that 10 yards per catch.
That's
kind of insane. We can see, but also the only game that he really did get that heavy share of targets was that week 2 game. And then that next week in practice, he was questionable because he hurt his knee in that practice. I think there is reason to be concerned about getting a guy like him injured when he is so important to not only the pass game, but the run game on this offense.
Man,
that you
Romeo Doubs has so many concussions. He's wearing that goofy looking thing on his helmet. They're throwing the ball to him 6 to 8 times a game. Not worried about him getting another concussion, but I'm worried about a guy twice his size getting hurt at this point. And Tucker Kraft
Dobbs isn't taking as much contact as Tucker Kraft does. You know that when you watch Tucker Kraft play that touchdown, he's running through guys to get that touchdown.
Yes, that's right. That's what he should be doing.
Defensive ends and outside linebackers that are blitzing. He's taking so much more damage within a game than a guy like Romeo Doubs is taking, especially since Dobbs, they use him on a lot of those in routes, those out routes where he's not getting coverage from anybody but a cornerback who is the same size as him. I think Tucker Kraft is just taking so much more of a beating that it is reasonable to want to take a step back with him when you do have so much talent on your roster.
No, it doesn't make any sense. You agreed with me at the end of last year,
I think
and
he's
you agreed with me
phenomenal.
at
That's
the beginning
why
of
I
this
don't
year
want
that
him to
he
get
needs to be the number one option in this offense, and he's not. And that is
But
ridiculous.
I
I don't
wouldn't
care
say
how many which
anybody
ways
else
you
is
want to spin
truly
this.
the number one option. I wouldn't say Romeo Dobbs has been the ideal number one option throughout the entirety of this season. So yeah, I think Tucker Kraft has the ability to be a number one option, but at the same time, that's just not what we're getting from the Packers ever. That's just not the case here.
Okay, when we go to break, a sizable break. When we go to break, I want you to look up and tell me. Should be Pro Football Reference, my guess. You should look up and tell me who leads this team in targets. I'm guessing it's Josh Jacobs. And then let's talk about targets thrown after that, as far as how they line up, and talk about who the one receiver is and who isn't. So we'll do that coming up on the other side. Plus, we'll hear from some of the action possibly going on down at American Family Field. Mitch Thunder Nellis is down there for the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. We'll check in with him coming up at 4:40 as he's at American Family Field. That's all coming up straight ahead. Also, do not forget about if you want to hit up the Potawatomi Sportsbook before a postseason game but need a ride to the game, hit two balls with one bat by hitching a ride on a Potawatomi game day shuttle. Make any purchase in the sportsbook or same-day sports bet to get a wristband and seat on the shuttle. Shuttles begin approximately 2 hours before the first pitch. Return shuttles run nonstop for 1 hour after the game. For more, visit Potawatomi.com. Bet above the rest. So we'll check in at American Family Field. We'll get some answers to the target question I threw up to Charlie about the Green Bay Packers as well.
Now if you want to answer.
No, well, people will hang on and then they'll hear us. They're coming up on the other side. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Had a guy walk in, waved at me, said, "Hey, Sparky." Walked in, got himself a Brewers championship hat, checked out, walked out, held it up to me, said, "Got it," and walked out. Clearly listening to the show today, and I'm telling you, it is worth making your way out here at Rally House, Brookfield Square. Get yourself shirts, hats. They got October baseball shirts, Brewers built for fall shirts, onesies for little Brewers fans that you can put them in and wear into the game if you're going to the game tonight. Not to mention Packers, Bucks, Badgers, all kinds of stuff, Marquette stuff up on the back wall as well. Take advantage of all of it here at Rally House at Brookfield Square, plus your chance to win a $250 Rally House gift card by simply scanning the QR code. Take advantage of it. We're only here until 5 o'clock. You got about 40 minutes left. Rally House, Brookfield Square Mall. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Rally House, Brookfield Square, out here to 5 o'clock in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Come hang out with us. Your chance to have a chance to enter to win for a $250 Rally House gift card to take advantage of that. Of course, they got all the postseason shirts here if you're headed to the game or you're going to a party or just want to wear some cool NLCS T-shirts or wear the hats. The hats are amazing. I'm telling you, it's the best Brewers hat I've seen them put out in my lifetime. It is a sweet hat. So take advantage of that as well. We have our relief pitcher shirts here as well. Those are free. Those don't cost anything. You want to take advantage of those. Got the pop sockets for the phones. Those are free as well. Hey, so I was telling you about, Charlie, for those people watching on YouTube, I was telling you about they got the Brewer stuff. They got onesies for the little kids and all kinds of different sizes. We got Packer stuff. Almost half the store is Packer stuff. That shirt looks well. You can take it. Yes, absolutely. It's a good fashion statement. People, that's just a bag that you can have and put stuff in, like you go to the grocery store or whatever. Yeah, that's nice. See, look at that. I'm selling our merchandise out here. Charlie, doing
What
good.
a pro.
Absolutely. So we got Badger stuff, everything else. So then in the break, I go to the manager here at Rally House. Hey, man, I said, am I missing anything that I should be promoting about? He's got, well, we got our own line of T-shirts. I said, well, I'm on YouTube. Let me show off some of them. So look at this. I got some like the Make It Cheesy type T-shirts.
Nice.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. This one is pretty cool. I like this one. This Wisconsin Utter Tuggers T-shirt. Is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's
don't
awesome.
you think?
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
That's pretty cool. They've got a Racine Bells Champions T-shirt as well from the movie, League of Their Own. So that also is a pretty cool T-shirt too. So I'm just telling you, man, all kinds of fun stuff you can do here at Rally House, Brookfield Square Mall. Come out, check it out, and you will just fall in love if you're a sports fan in here. You won't want to leave. There's so much stuff to look at for sure. Okay, so let's hear from some of what was going on down at American Family Field. But before we do that, I want to get an answer to what I had to say about the Packers and targets going into this one, as far as who leads this team in targets. And let's go down target share of who Jordan Love is. Now, this is not catches. It's not receptions. These are targets, just to be clear, so we're all on the same page here. All right, Charlie Usen, what you got?
So the Packers' top 5 receivers are Romeo Doubs with 28 targets, Tucker Kraft with 22 targets, Matthew Golden with 19, Josh Jacobs with 19, Dontavian Wicks with 18. But I also wanted to look at a couple other teams just to see what their wide receiver ones or wide receiver twos are doing as well, to see how
so you
much.
Looked at the Rams with Devontae and Puka Nacua and
the
whoever.
Cincinnati Bengals. That was one of the teams. I have 3 teams: the Bengals, the Eagles, and the Browns. So I feel like those were 3 different teams with 3 different styles of passing offense.
Yeah.
So Jamar
Now
Chase,
the Bengals have had backup quarterback though, so that might be a little bit different without Joe Burrow. But either way,
doesn't matter. Jamar Chase leads that team in targets with 57 total targets. That is
how many?
57.
How many did Romeo Doubs have?
He had 28.
So double for a
double
number
that.
1 wide receiver.
Their number 2 wide receiver is T. Higgins, obviously, with 35 total targets. So Jamar Chase has 22 more targets than A.T. Higgins. Their number 3 is Chase Brown with 24 targets. Their running back. Head over to the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown leads that team with 45. He has 10 more than Devontae Smith with 35. Dallas Goedert has 33. And the Cleveland Browns.
That is 3 different guys with over 30. They don't have one in Green Bay.
And they don't throw that often. If we're being, their team is built on the run there in Philadelphia too. Jerry Jeudy in Cleveland has 48 targets. Harold Fannin has 38, and David Njoku has 36.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Look up the Kansas City Chiefs, because that is a band of misfits at wide receiver at this point, and the aging Travis Kelce at tight end in Kansas City with the Hall of Famer, obviously, in Patrick Mahomes.
So Hollywood Brown leads that team with 44 targets. Travis Kelce is 37 right after him, and then it takes a big jump down to Tyquan Thornton with 25.
So let's talk about this. So are the Packers trying to reinvent the wheel? Are the Packers trying to do this differently than everybody else in the National Football League to try to prove to everybody that their way is the best? Or are the Packers simply saying, we don't have top-level talent to throw the ball to at that high of level? Is that what this is? Are they saying we don't have a Hollywood Brown to throw the ball to that much? We don't have a Travis Kelce-like player to throw the ball to that much? I mean, I'm not saying they have an A.J. Brown. They don't have an A.J. Brown. I'm not going to sit here and argue about that. They don't have a Jamar Chase. They don't even have a T. Higgins at this point, I don't think. So, okay, fine. I'm with you on that. But Hollywood Brown, folks, Come on, man. Like, you're not going to sell me that Hollywood Brown is better than what they have on this wide receiving core at this point. You're certainly not going to sell me that Tucker Kraft should not have over 30 targets at this point. And Romeo Doubs is his guy, Jordan Love's guy. He's not even at 30 targets at this point. And you wonder why Romeo Doubs is frustrated and has been frustrated about targets? Again, like I said earlier with Tucker Kraft, they need to get paid on this next contract. Rookie deals are nice. You get a nice living, making more than you and I probably, fine. I get down with that. But that next contract is their first big contract when they're in their 20s. Because in the National Football League, when you hit 30, you're done in most GM's eyes, especially the Packers. So you have to hit it this next time. He's not going to have a base to go off of in order to get paid because he's going to be way behind numbers-wise compared to his counterparts. And no GM's going to go, well, in my offense, you're going to get, 40 or 50 more targets, and I'm going to pay you like that. No, they're not. They're going to go, well, based on the targets you have in the yards, that's comparable to this guy over here, and he ain't making anything. So that's what we're going to offer you, Tucker. Like that stinks, man. If we're being honest. I understand trying to spread the ball around. You can't focus on doubling a number one wide receiver and all this stuff in Green Bay. But I kind of feel bad for these guys, man, when they get to free agency. And it works to the Packers' advantage because it'll make them easier for them to keep in Green Bay, Charlie.
Well, I think the other thing we have to look at, between all the 5 teams that we just looked at, their wide receiver shares, the Green Bay Packers by far have the leading running back with the most single share of his team's rushes attempts. Josh Jacobs has 98 carries on the season. The next best is Jordan Love with 20. If we just go over to the Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley has 3 less carries than Josh Jacobs. He has 95, but Jalen Hurts has 50 carries there too. We go over to like Cincinnati. They have Chase Brown with 74 carries, but other than that, nobody else on that team is running the ball for them. Kansas City, you go over there. Isaiah Pacheco has 51 carries. Kareem Hunt has 49. Patrick Mahomes has 38. I think with that type of...
The quarterback has 38, did you say?
Yeah.
That's not good for anybody.
Not at all. But I think with this type of offense that the Packers are running, they have gone in with this game plan of having the focus be Josh Jacobs. And I think that is showing up in the pass game as well. A lot of these other teams that we are looking at have this focus of either A, being a pass first team, or B, trying to be a mix of both. And the Packers, that's just not their game plan, but it's working. They're still one of the top 6, top 10 teams in the league to a lot of people.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm not saying it's not working for them offensively. I'm just saying if you're looking at it from a player perspective and looking at it from their perspective in the receiver room, their perspective in the tight end room, which, again, if you're Matt LaFleur, you don't care about whether or not they get paid on their next contract. You could care less. Your concern is winning football games right now.
Your job, yeah.
Right. But my point in all of this is the most talented player should be touching the ball the most on any offense. I don't care what your offensive philosophy is. The most talented player should touch the ball the most. That goes for basketball. That goes for football. That goes for soccer. That goes for pretty much any sport. Baseball, you can't control. Obviously, it's a lineup. But everybody else, you can control. And those best players get the most touches. That's not what's happening in Green Bay, Wisconsin with this Packers team right now. I'm sorry, you're not going to convince me it is. Romeo Doubs is not a more talented player than Tucker Kraft. He's not a more talented player than Matthew Golden. He's not a more talented player than Christian Watson. And I question if he's more talented than Tavian Wicks, if we're being honest about it. But that's not how we're rolling with this. Romeo Doubs is a great possession receiver, a great 3rd and 5, 3rd and 3, that type of player. Yes, he is that guy, and you need those type of guys. Like, do you know where Romeo Doubs would be good? He would have been great in a Belichick system, right? Where he's Edelman, he's those guys. He would be perfect with that type of offense with how New England ran it. But with what they're doing here, right? Jordan Love's his guy, so Jordan Love's getting the ball. There's better options right now to stretch this field.
Yeah, but he's only getting him the ball 6 more targets than Tucker Kraft right now, which is only getting the ball 2 more targets than the next guy and 1 more target than the next guy. I mean, when you look at those other teams,
that's my point.
Jamar Chase is getting 22 more targets. So right now, the most talented player on this Packers offense is Josh Jacobs. It's not anybody in that wide receiver room. So I think that comes first. The fact that Josh Jacobs gets the carries and the touches first. Yes, Tucker Kraft may be your most talented wide receiver. Yes, Matthew Golden may be your most talented wide receiver. At the same time, they're not the most talented player on the offense. So there's touches are going to be a lot more split across that wide receiver room because nobody in there is the number one.
Coming up next, we're going to check in with Mitch Thunder Nellis. He's down at American Family Field getting ready for game 2 between the Brewers and the Dodgers. Yamamoto on the mound against Peralta for the Milwaukee Brewers. So we'll check in with him live at American Family Field. And mornings could start to all feel the same. So if you're looking for a fresh wake up every morning, look no further than Wendy's breakfast. Try a breakfast baconator with fresh cracked eggs and crispy bacon, a grilled sausage breakfast burrito, or maybe even a honey buddy. Don't even think about sleeping on Wendy's seasoned potatoes and English muffin sandwiches. Doesn't matter what you go for, it's going to change your life. All right, well, at least get freshen up your morning. Ready for a fresh wake-up call, it's got to be Wendy's. Coming up next, Mitch Thunder Nellis. Of course, you can hear him with the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, brought to you by Verizon, weekdays from noon until 2. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook here at Rally House, Brookfield Square Mall in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Come check out all the great postseason merchandise that you can get, whether it's Brewers gear, whether it's for your kids in Brewers gear. They got Packers, Badgers, Bucks, Marquette. They got their own line of clothing, like the Utter Tuggers shirts that are pretty sweet as well. We'll see you out here at Rally House, Brookfield Square Mall, out here for another 20 minutes. Welcome back, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Steve Sparky, Fifer with you. Charlie Usen producing to the show like always. Thanks to Jason Hirschhorn, co-founder of Leap Newsletter in the 2 o'clock hour of the show. Marcus Hanel, former Brewers bullpen catcher for 20 years. He joined us earlier to talk more about what Pat Murphy said yesterday about the bullpen catcher and how that job has evolved. So we got into that and got his thoughts coming up on tonight's Game 2 between the Brewers and the Dodgers. Yamamoto against Freddie Peralta. Don't forget 5-7 tonight. Make your way over to Camp Bar in Milwaukee's 3rd Ward for the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wirtz will get you ready for the game. We'll hear from Pat Murphy from before the game, hear from different players I talked to earlier today as well, get you the starting lineups throughout, guests throughout the show too. So 5-7, make sure to check that out. And if you're in the area, it's all brought to you by Sun Cruiser. Vodka iced tea, 100 calories, no bubbles, just sheer deliciousness. Check that out today. I got to tell you all about my fine folks over at Prize Picks. We'll do that. But first, let's check in with our guy, Mitch Thunder Nellis from the Mason Crosby Show, weekdays from noon to 2 on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. He joins us now on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. Mitch Thunder Nellis at American Family Field. He's on the field and looking stellar. Looking good, Mitch Thunder Nellis.
Fellas, everything good? You guys feeling all right? Everybody doing okay?
I'm feeling fine. I think we were talking about this earlier. The key to this game has to be Freddie Peralta, number one, has to get them through at least 5, hopefully 6 innings. That may be a big ask for Freddie, high-pitch count Peralta. But that's the first thing. And the second thing is they have got to get Yamamoto out of this game by the 6th inning, latest 7th inning, and get into that Dodgers bullpen earlier than last night when they didn't get there to the 9th inning.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Obviously, Freddie, we all are on the same page. Freddie's going to Freddie. We're going to hope that that's 6 innings. If it's 5, it's 5. His ERA at home has been unbelievable this year. Hopefully that just continues. I think on the other side, I think Yamamoto's hittable. I don't think he's Blake Snell. I don't think even at his best, I'd be surprised if they didn't at least get runners against him. And so I don't know that they'll have a lot of success offensively, but I think they'll be able to foul off more pitches, which they couldn't even do against Snell. That's why he had such why his pitch count didn't get up there. I think they'll be able to get some runners on. If they can squeak a couple across, that's great. But I think it's just a better matchup. It's a better feel. Tommy's best friend, Jake Bowers, is in the lineup tonight, so we know that's going to make a little bit of a difference. But it's just I just, based on the way the 9th inning went last night, you're absolutely right. They got to get into that bullpen. But I do feel like Yamamoto's a little more touchable than Snell was last night.
He better be a little bit more touchable than Snell. I can't imagine many guys are going to do as good as Snell did against his Brewers lineup. And again, we've been talking about it all afternoon. Jonathan Lucroy was amazing on Twitter last night, breaking this down, and they were asking Lucroy, how would you go about facing Snell when he's not throwing you fastballs? And what he's throwing, he said, you got to go away. You got to aim to right field, and if you're late to get jammed, so be it. But you've got to try and wait as long as possible to determine what the pitch is, because it's a 4-seam changeup and a 4-seam fastball. So that was his mentality going into this. Yamamoto, I would assume, will throw more fastballs than what Blake Snell did last night.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you have 4 pitches and all 4 of them are working for you, you could throw any pitch at any time. And that's what Blake had last night. That's why he went with the changeups so often. I mean, he made – I was talking about it on the morning show today, how he made Jackson basically corkscrew. Those old cartoons where you swing and you go 5 times into the ground because Jackson's sitting on a fastball or a sinker, and it's the changeup, and it looks exactly the same. Yamamoto's great. He's really good. The Dodgers pitching staff is ridiculous. We all know that, but he's not Blake Snell. I think the Brewers should have a little more action tonight, right off the bat.
Pat Murphy before the game was asked about Quintana and whether or not he's going to see if he'll be in play for Game 3.
Did you like that answer? Did you hear that?
And Pat Murphy said, quote, I have it in front of me, quote, I would think so, maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. What are we doing?
You know what? Murphy's going to Murph. Murphy's going to Murph. I don't think Quintana's in play for tonight.
What does that mean? Because if it's Quintana tonight, I'm telling you, Mizorowski is on the road in Game 3 against the Dodgers and maybe starting.
Yeah, I don't like that. I think the only way Quintana pitches is if Freddie, gets in trouble in this can't get through 1 or 2. But if Freddie just Freddies, if he just goes 5 or 6 innings, there's Quintana's starting Game 3. Or there's an opener and Quintana's innings 2 through 5 in Game 3 or whatever it is. I'd be shocked. I think Murph just threw that out as a total red herring. Just like, yeah, because it's like, hey, can we assume Quintana's on for Game 3? And he's like, I would think so. Maybe tonight. Like, that's how he said it. It's not happening.
By the way, I give you credit, Mitch Thunder Nellis, joining us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Hear him with Mason Crosby weekdays from noon to 2 here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. You've turned Freddie Peralta's first name into a verb.
Everything's a verb
you
right
get
now.
credit for that.
Yep. I think everything's a verb right now. Murphy's a verb. Terang's a verb. Abner Uribe's a verb. I feel like one of those TV guys right now, like doing a stand-up hit on the field.
You look good.
You know?
Yeah.
We got Ashley Washburn over here. We got Dario. We got Scott Grodzky, Tim Van Vorn.
I mean,
all the Milwaukee luminaries are here.
I got to ask Charlie using his opinion here because, I mean, you on YouTube with me is something that normally doesn't happen, but then you've got the baseball field backdrop behind you and all that. Charlie, I think he looks better on YouTube than he does in person.
I think so.
Yeah. You really looking good.
Even I agree with that. Even I agree with that.
Yeah, dude, you're looking really good. Oh, no. Tommy Woods has entered the conversation over here.
First of all, like, Sparky gonna Sparky was, like, the first phrase I learned over at 1250. So to use a name like that. Also, full count Freddie, if you're trying to go for something there, Spark, too. That's another good one. Yeah, are we down with having Mitch Nellis just being our on-site reporter? Because he does look like a natural.
Yes.
He's got a journalism degree, not like a comms degree like the rest of us, you know?
I have a journalism degree. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Mitch looks beautiful with that backdrop right there. I
you
thought
look
you look like you
amazing.
should be on TV.
Nice.
Yeah, he does. He looks really good. Like, you should be doing TV instead of radio, man. You got something going there. TV pays more than radio, too, man.
Dario Melendez has an opening right now because Jared Fialco just moved to North Carolina, so maybe Channel 12 is in my future. You never know.
A little Milwaukee TV for Mitch Nellis. Thunder, thank you so much, and good luck. Enjoy the game. There goes Mitch Thunder Nellis. Off he goes, joining us here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest line, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. And now we go from Mitch to Tommy's face filling up the screen here on YouTube.
Just crazy how it did that, right? I mean,
yeah, it's just changed the whole vibe of the entire show how this works. I don't even
anymore.
I mean, well, that's because he was like kissing his computer screen when he was doing it.
No, I'm not. Now I'm not.
Okay,
All right. Look,
good.
Okay,
all right.
I got it.
People listening on the radio are like, we don't care about this. So you're at Camp Bar in Milwaukee's 3rd Ward coming up tonight, brought to you by Sun Cruiser. And vodka iced teas will be flowing, obviously, at Camp Bar tonight. I understand that. Shuttles to the game, all that fun stuff, too. I want to ask you, we only have 2 minutes left. Your key, even though I know you do this on the leadoff show, probably on the Potawatomi Sportsbook from 5 to 7 tonight, your 2 keys to tonight's game.
First inning. First inning is always now going to be just the most important inning of the entire game for every single Brewers postseason game. The vibe was set immediately when it was a scoreless first inning yesterday. And if the Brewers can get on the board early in this one, that's going to help them way more. They couldn't figure anything out against Blake Snell, and he had his best stuff. Yamamoto's a guy they've hit in the past. They've had a game off of him in which he has given up 5 earned runs in the contest. And then, I got to go with my guy, Jake Bauers, the other key to the game, too. Why not? He gets his opportunity. He's going to start in the outfield, and really that is a bigger part than his bat. I feel like Isaac Collins, for what his bat has been in this postseason, and it hasn't been much, Jake Bauers in the outfield scares me a little bit. I know they just want his bat in the lineup, but make sure he's able to do what he does at the plate, plus be serviceable in left field today.
There he is. Stay tuned to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Coming up next, it's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Thank you, Tommy Wirtz. I'll be listening as I head out of here. Thanks to Rally House, Brookfield Square Mall for having us out here today. Thanks everyone for coming out. I know we gave away a lot of relief pitcher T-shirts. A lot of people signed up to have a chance to win a $250 Rally House gift card as well. So thanks to everybody. Get your postseason gear right here of the Milwaukee Brewers. They got the Packers, Bucks, Marquette, you name it, they got it. Thanks for tuning in. That'll do it for another episode here of Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Have a good night. Toodles.